Okay. All right, folks. Well, thanks for making it in today. Hope you had a good weekend. I know on Friday we had the Wisconsin Newspaper Association convention. The Royal Purple went, and we had a great time. There was Alex Leslie there he's the VP from the Milwaukee Bucks. So he gave the opening speech, which was really great. Talked about how they're pulling in more fans and kind of how their communications are going with that. I know a couple people did attend from your class, so it was great to see you guys. And then, Friday, then we had the Student Better Newspaper competition that was going on, and Royal Purple won 2 awards for that. So that was really great. We got first place, Sarah can take a seat here, for in-depth writing. Brad Allen won that. And then for column writing, Shannon Lejeski, she won first place as well. So it was really great. We won 2 first place plaques. So it was really great. So we were working last week in this class on blogging, and that's kind of where we wrapped up. So today we're going to kind of continue there with blogging and kind of move into microblogging, which is tweeting, right? Tweeting or even just basically shorter blog posts, right? So we're kind of moving through the chapters here. We've got the exam coming up next week. So we will get in towards some statistics. We'll wrap up that last chapter 7 before the exam. All right. So it's kind of looking at this week, what we'll be talking about, and in preparation for next week. All right. Okay, so let's just go ahead and jump into things. If you guys could go to your Canvas page and pull up the blogging PowerPoint that we worked on last week. And we'll kind of recap that a little bit to kind of familiarize ourselves with blogging and kind of move forward through that. So once you get that pulled up, if you want to scroll down to the slide where it talks about Deadspin. So do you guys know about the Deadspin blog? Anyone ever read it in class? Okay. They've broken a few major stories over the past few years, so I thought it'd be a good example to kind of kick off this lesson. So it's a sports website owned by Univision Communications. It was launched in 2005, so it's pretty well established now. Has lots of people thousands who check in on it each day. They post commentaries, recaps, previews of major sports stories each day, different anecdotes, rumors, even YouTube videos. So it's it's a blog. It's more casual. This isn't professional reporting as we might maybe we're training for in this course. The last post each evening is tagged as Duan, meaning Deadspin Up All Night. And it's usually really diverse and even goes a lot beyond sports commentary, goes into music, food, and culture, and all of those things that are related to that. Kind of athletes, maybe what are trends that they're following, things like that. Caleb, could you take a seat over on this side? Oh, yeah, sure. Thanks. We're recording the class today for our observation this semester. Okay. Some major stories, if you want to flip to the next slide, are some huge things that have broken from that blog over the years. So maybe, do you guys want to start? Maybe take the first one and we'll just kind of go down the road here and read each one of these.
Here we go. Deadspin broke the story of NFL quarterback Brett Favre's alleged sexual misconduct towards journalist Dennis Schroeder in 2020. Deadspin broke the story of Sarah Phillips, the reporter hired by ESPN who lied about her identity and credentials to staffers in order to gain employment in 2012. Deadspin broke the news that the reported September 2012 death broke the story made all American linebacker by Hale and said fired from the 2012 season entirely
right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
All right, Tyler, next one.
Deadspin received attention for buying a vote for the Baseball Hall of Fame election in 2013 from Miami Herald sports editor Dan Levine.
Yeah, yep. So you guys kind of laughed about one of them or a couple of them. Do you guys remember these or hearing about these? Okay. Did you know that Deadspin was the blog that broke the story?
No.
No. All right. So that's kind of interesting, right? So that's kind of right. What we're kind of experiencing in our media culture today is where these stories come, they appear, they get picked up by other media, but blogs are really doing a lot of that, what we would call muckraking, which is kind of like the real investigative, digging through the dirt, finding the scandals, things like that that used to happen in the early 20th century by a lot of professional news organizations. But today, blogs are really picking that up quite a bit and doing kind of that hard work for us. Professional news organizations today don't have quite as many staff and time to dedicate to a lot of these types of stories. So they're doing a lot more day-to-day coverage, whereas blogs, right, these are kind of more created by fans or people where this is their secondary job and they're doing this just because they love doing this work. So, yeah.
What I see a lot is bigger names in the sports media, like Woj or Adam Schefter, kind of releasing this information and like crediting the blog post or whatever website breaks it, but then everyone else starts crediting Schefter, Woj, whoever breaks it. So it's kind of like you have to have that bigger name because then it gives it that credibility. So it's a weird thing for the blogs.
No, exactly. And you're right. Leaks, right, are so important here because behind most of these stories, a leak occurred somewhere. And maybe these are going through the blogs, even outside of, sports like WikiLeaks and things like that you've heard about. So, yeah, great example there. Okay, so why don't you guys flip to the next slide? These next few are a little bit of review. Basically, we talked about these really quickly last week, but I thought it'd be good for us to follow up and remember what these are again. See, Cyril, do you want to read the next slide there? That's the first type of blog. Yeah, behind the scenes post.
Your blog is beautiful. Your blog is great. You have insight into daily life from your community. With your social media profiles and all your post apps, you can talk about all the blogs in more depth. Give your fans a rundown for a normal training day. I have to do my things that make sense like they are part of the team.
Yeah, exactly. Make them feel connected, like they're part of the team. How can we, that's what we always want to be thinking about is how we can get our fans closer to the action, but particularly with these specific kinds of posts. So, Caleb, want to read the next one?
Personality pieces. Your blog doesn't just have to be about day-to-day things, but can also handle broader subjects. For example, the story of your team, how it was founded, and how you arrived where you are. You may also spotlight single players, conduct interviews with club members, or put together FAQs with the answers to the questions that get asked over and over again.
Yeah, yep. So frequently asked questions, right? So I want to think about how can we explore and maybe to behind the scenes, how can we get behind the scenes of one particular person? Sharita, want to read that next one?
Tutorials are a classic staple of the blogging world. Many bloggers will offer some tons of videos and audio in some way. If you can make your fans' lives easier or better, they will be happy to come by more often. For example, which limited light training from your item? Resource collections for different topics are another excellent idea.
Yeah, great. Can you guys think of any how-to blogs or videos or things that you've maybe checked out for sports? Or in general, like how to do an awesome layup or how to do a windmill dunk. Yeah, great. Yeah, handling, maybe how to get around people really well, things like that. So, of course, we see all those bloopers and like amazing shots, like on ridiculousness and those types of things. But the how-to ones, that's also kind of a only unique genre. All right, want to grab game recaps.
Blog is also a great place to talk about recent events. While social media is a good medium for first impressions and live updates, blog posts offer an opportunity to talk about games in more detail. It's also a place for fans to weigh in on their opinions, share their thoughts, and more.
Yeah, great. So game recaps, we've done those game summary stories. So this is just a online version, particularly for a blog. All right, we got just a couple more left here. Video image posts.
Of course, not everything has to be in text form. Blogging allows to post all sorts of content, and it's always a good idea to at least supplement your writing with other media. Thankfully, WordPress makes embedding videos, posting images, and using other media really easy so that you can go nuts in this department.
Yeah, so we want to kind of mix everything with not just text, but also with some video, also with some audio. All right, and the last one here, inspirational posts.
Often teams and players will serve as role models for other athletes and sports aficionados. Fans look up to them, want to be like them, and see the sports as a vehicle to achieve greater things. Why not encourage them? Be the friend that the supporters they are looking for. Give them a helping hand, tell them they can achieve their goals, provide some fire up there behind. They will appreciate it.
Yeah, so that's just a whole nother unique way that's really focused on interacting with your audience specifically, right? So that's right, what being using the internet is all about, and how that's different from broadcasting, right? Is we are speaking more directly to our audiences. We're interacting with them more. We're asking them for what their questions are, or we're giving them inspiration on, how they can be better or how to do something. So it's kind of going a step further than broadcasting. All right, so on the next slide, you guys, you'll see if you guys want to do a site comparison real quick. So last week we talked about that major blog site, SB Nation, and how they have all kinds of different blogs for all the sports you could ever think of. So go ahead and go to sbnation.com/blogs, and you'll see that's where they have all their major blogs listed. And pick whatever sport you want. Do pick a sport though. They have all kinds of blogs for other like entertainment programs, The Bachelor, things like that. But pick a sport and kind of do a site analysis here. There's 3 questions on there, kind of asking what kind of site is this, or post rather. Look at one particular blog post and think of what's the strength of this blog post. Is it an inspirational post? Is it a behind the scenes? What's great about it? And then how is it interacting with the community? All right, so kind of look for those 2 main things. All right, so I'll give you a few minutes, kind of read through ones, and we'll kind of share as a class. Lots of stuff happening this week. We've got conferences going on here. We've got Selection Sunday next week, so maybe you'll find some interesting forecasts and previews of what they think might happen.
Yeah. I don't know this one, I think the passive one, but, this one's kind of spicy. They don't have that many people ready for it. So this is what I asked you. This would be like a passive. That article now is up here, I think that. Yeah, so since the challenge, like during the off-season, come up with creative content, you know, how you're going to yeah, and well, I assume that these guys, they won't usually go with that industry stuff that much in terms of, because you always see, especially in media nowadays, it's like, is he coachable? Is he like, I don't see a lot of that on this blog, which they look at Twitter. I mean, as a Packer fan, you know, like, you don't like to do that. In terms of like getting clicks and being out there, you gotta write stories and whatever the story's on. I don't know.
Great, so are you guys finding stuff? Everyone kind of found one blog anyway? Anyone want to share what, maybe a particular post, did it have some major strengths? And what would you label it? Is it a behind the scenes post? Is it a personality piece, a game recap, a how-to, inspirational?
I had a game recap,
Okay.
when I was doing spring training games, and it did the first half of it did a really good job of established, like it was summarizing what happened at the beginning of the game while also focusing on a single player as Corbin Burns' pitcher, like saying what his goals were and what struggles have been throughout the spring training so far, and like incorporating that into how it was. And even though the stats didn't look good, he still improved over the game, that kind of thing. And then it goes into more how the rest of the game went. So it was game summary, but it was also focusing on these young players and trying to make names.
Yeah, so kind of, even almost a post-game analysis,
Mhm.
kind of.
Right.
Great, great. So maybe its strengths is that analysis part, is that what you'd say?
Yeah.
And do you think, did it interact with the audience in any particular way? Or do you think maybe, what do you think of that?
Not that I noticed, no.
Sure. So maybe it could improve in that.
Yeah.
Good. And I guess I suppose with the analysis story or a game recap, maybe that can kind of be tough
Yeah.
to do because you're kind of focusing more on getting that information out. So yeah, so it's maybe not necessarily too important for it to directly address the audience or something like that in every single post, but you do want to do that. Right. Anyone else have a post they'd like to share? Wow, Colin. So, did you find anything?
Yeah, I found it also about the rules. I wanted to see like the things that actually, you know, the people I saw in the game, you know, play like the fans and things. And they talking about a new player that got his first start with the rules. So they're saying basically like how you like to watch things off there and first like showing, you know, things like that. And just raise questions about how you start lineup.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, great. So kind of another game recap, but it sounds like there was more audience interaction with that. Kind of like, well, yeah, did we all have a similar perception of what happened here? Good, good. Anyone have one that wasn't a game recap? Yeah.
I have a free agency kind of timer, where it's talking about how free agency wins, and what the author thinks the Packers could do in free agency. So it kind of just talks about like the base positions that the team needs, all that, and it goes through the players that the team could top. But then also like gives a primer on what other outlets are saying and just like the stuff that's happened up until now. So I thought that was really interesting, like just kind of catch you up.
Yeah, that is good. And so that's kind of really addressing the audience.
Yeah.
Right? So kind of really being a tool. Not maybe a how-to, but yeah, kind of really providing some good information, a tool for readers.
Yeah.
Great, great. Okay, guys, so let's keep moving forward here now. If you want to switch back to the slides a bit, and we'll kind of get a bit deeper into some content. But now we'll switch over to microblogs. All right. So as I said before, microblogs, they're basically tweets, right? So that's the short version of the most popular version these days. These could also be really short Facebook posts or other kinds of social media that are just basically, even shorter blogs. So microblogging is a way that we can maybe in between each of our long blogs or our large blog posts, we can just check in with our audiences at different times, maybe even during a game itself as it's going on, right? You guys heard of live tweeting, I'm sure. Do you guys follow live tweeting at all? Yeah. Okay. Maybe some of you have even done it. Okay. What do you do when you live tweet? What do you kind of tweet about?
Mostly opinions, I guess.
Yeah, I agree. Because the people that are going to be looking at your tweets, they're probably watching the game too.
Right.
And they're thinking, okay, did you see what I just saw?
Right.
Or what do you think of this big play that happened?
Right.
This big mistake?
Yeah, like should this play, like especially on referee calls, like that kind of thing, or just play calls in general. If a player makes a bad move, or something like that. Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah. Oh, sure. So exactly. So there's often a lot more opinionated content. As we know, Twitter can also kind of get negative pretty quick, maybe, and really highly critical. But yeah, this is a way that we can maybe really interact in a live way with our audiences, and we can also maybe check in with people in between our longer blog posts. Right? We want to be writing our blog posts on a habitual basis, so you want to either get in the habit of it once a day if you're really a professional, but otherwise maybe once a week or every couple days or something. But you want to kind of establish a routine so your audience knows when they can check in with you. But then in between those times, microblogging is a really great way to build what's called social capital. So that's creating connections with your audience, building a fan base is maybe how you've heard about it in like the entertainment industry. Is how do you get people to, become your fans? So enjoy your work, follow your writing, you build a name for yourself. So on the next slide, it talks about some basics of Twitter. A lot of you maybe know these already, but it's 280 characters or less. So there's not a whole lot you can put in there, but you can put in images nowadays or link to videos. You can tag people. So there's a lot more features now from more than when it initially started. You'll want to shorten up links. So having a hyperlink in there is always really great. And the example that I have in there is Bitly. That's just one site where you don't even have to be a member. You can take one of those really long hyperlinks and it'll shorten it down for you so that you can fit it into a tweet. Does anyone know of some other hyperlink shortening sites? Well, there's a couple out there anyway. But Bitly is just one of them. I think it's the most common. So then I have on here just some of the basic things that you can do on Twitter. You can direct message people specifically using that @ sign. You can use hashtags to jump into a conversation that's related to a specific topic, maybe a certain scandal that's happening or a specific team or game, like for the Brewers or Packers or something. So do you guys ever follow any hashtags specifically, or have you used some of those before? Yeah.
HS really likes the high school sports that's happening on all the games going on, especially with the state basketball tournament this past weekend and this week, and then like the state football tournament. I like people like that.
Yeah.
So I follow that hashtag.
Great. So these are all ways you can interact. You can also retweet, so that's taking someone else's tweet and then reposting it again through your own profile. So it's kind of expanding that audience base for whatever's happening. So I've got some tips on here for you. You want to be relevant. This is really timely. It's as we talked about live tweeting, you want to be really quick with this. so it should be in real time. You want to be informative, include links, also reflect your personality. And this is really about building relationships. So you want to really use this for interacting with your audience. So I've got some facts on there about Twitter. You can take a look at those if you want to. But otherwise, let's jump ahead here now to this 80-20 power law rule. So this 80-20 power law, this is about how often you want to post your own content that's promotional versus interacting with other people. So, Caleb, could you read this one for us?
Yeah, sure. So use 80% of your posts or content to do something to add something of value to the community. A link to an interesting article, a tip on a new website, or anything else that your followers are going to find interesting. And 20% is of the person content could be self-promoting, such as links to your latest articles or blog posts, or asking for input or conducting forums.
Yeah. So it's saying you don't want to be always doing too much strategic communication of promoting yourself or the company you work for, the brand. Right. Some of you might be going into more informative communication, more kind of journalistic types of sports writing. Some of you might be thinking of doing public relations for a team or for an organization. When you're doing a blog, right, it's more personal typically, more about yourself, unless you work for one of these websites. So whether you're promoting yourself or the organization you work for, you really only want to do that promotional content about 20% of the time. And then 80% of the time, you want it to be more just informative. Do with this what you will, or here's my opinion. Do with my opinion what you will, but I'm not pushing you to any game or any subscription or to like my Facebook page or follow my profile or something like that. So, all right, so the next slide, finally, we'll kind of wrap up microblogging here, has some overall tips for how you can build an audience. So you want to always think about putting your reader first. At the same time, you want to also organize your ideas, be direct, and speak with some authority. So that's that first list there. That's all kind of about, all of those items there are all about how you can kind of have a certain style for your blog. Now, the second one is really important about organizing your ideas. You don't want to ever, just like with our stories, you don't want to ever just sit down and kind of spill your guts onto the keyboard because you want to always have some type of organization so that people can follow, what is the point of your blog. You always want to have a focus. So the next column here says make your post scannable, link, summarize, and analyze. Be specific with headlines, and have a good attitude about it. So these are all about now kind of the technical aspects when you're kind of creating these blog or microblog posts. And particularly the last one about have a good attitude, that's really important. Even if you're doing a little bit of criticism, I'd say always try to put a positive spin on it. In the end, how can this player improve, or how can this team improve or turn around their losing streak, something like that. Because if you get too negative, you'll kind of start to, people don't like bad news all the time. So it's good to kind of stay out of that realm. And then lastly, you want to use some photos, some screenshots, really create community with all kinds of multimedia and interactivity. All right. So any questions about blogging or tweeting, microblogging? Pretty good. All right, guys. Well, so we had an assignment, a build your own blog assignment, but since we didn't meet on Friday, we've gone ahead and extended that through Wednesday. All right. So you can upload that by Wednesday, and the assignment is on Canvas. So what you're going to want to do is create your own column or your own blog, whether it's a how-to or a recap or inspirational. And there's a form on there on Canvas about what you need to do to create that. And to start off, you will need to do exactly kind of what we just saw in the SB Nation post. Is you need to create a theme. So is my blog going to be about following the NHL or the NFL, or is it going to be a specific team? And then even beyond that, more specifically, Is my blog going to be really about analysis, or am I going to be really personality driven here or opinionated? So kind of what's your angle for your blog? Right? So you'll see some of these categories. So you need to fill out this sheet. So fill out all these items, and then actually write your blog post. Right? So shoot for about 500 words, which is kind of what we've been doing all semester, kind of about a page. Include some hyperlinks, make it interactive, basically create your own mini blog here. All right. So now I know a couple of you already finished this assignment. I think Tyler and Sharita and Zach. So I think if you guys, since you wrapped up that, if you want to do a peer review, maybe check out each other's blogs and you can kind of see how maybe you can improve them. Does that sound good? All right, so I'll give you guys a few minutes to get going and kind of start filling out this sheet and thinking about what you want to do for this, and then I'll come around and check in with you.
Yeah, I don't know why it's like economic. Yeah, okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, well, yeah. Yeah, like, somehow I ended up on some Japanese station. I just looked it up. It's like, they even better. Yeah, so some of these, it's mostly sport. And I usually have to like, um, yeah, like, I just like download YouTube videos. I just put it up to that, 5 minutes and stuff. Not all of it's saved to use because I don't feel like money on it. It's not right content, so but I want to do it for a long. Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Okay. Yeah. 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 So I can just take it off. Not like push real far now. Okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah. That's fine. I mean, that's what it's like. So it's just a side. You're right. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Hey folks, well, hopefully you're getting a good jump start on this blog. So again, it'll be due Wednesday, all right? So work on that for this week. If you want, you can check out. I have a personal blog. It's keithzukas.wordpress.com. And it's not sports specifically related, but it's related to journalism and kind of my professional career. I posted about the Royal Purples Awards that we won on Friday. And what's nice about WordPress, if you select an option, every post you write, it will also automatically tweet. So it will also link that to your Twitter. And then people who check it out on Twitter can click on it and they'll be directed right to your blog. So that's a really nice feature. Also Facebook, if you're on Facebook, I'm not, but if you're on Facebook, you can link that as well. So you can really, through one website, build a huge brand. And then kind of, if you would tweet a lot, just do short microblogs on your WordPress site, and then it'll automatically tweet out as well. So I think that's a really great option. It's really important to be building your own professional blog right now. If you look at mine, you'll see I do posts, but I've also got my resume, a link to my resume. I've got a link to work examples. I've got a reference list. I've got you can actually read full papers that I've written, posters that I've done. This is important when you're applying for jobs too, because a lot of times you're really limited on how you can apply to jobs online. So if you have a link to a website of yours, you can really explore all of those things that you've done through that as well. Caleb already has a blog going. His blog is CalebOffTheLine.wordpress.com if you guys want to check it out. Caleb, you want to kind of just tell people kind of what you've been doing for yours? Because you have quite a bit going on yours.
Yeah, mostly I just do like player spot hits for football players playing the draft. So like I'll do a write-up on guys, so like David Montgomery, and then I'll like make a highlight video along with it. So like usually I'm just like constantly doing that. And, yeah, that's about it. Just take that and tweet it out on our Scouts Elite thing. So yeah, if you want to check out on Twitter, Scouts Elite, shameless plug. If you want to follow it. So yeah, it's just basically a bunch of draft stuff and whatnot. So that's what I do. I do all the time on that. But, yeah.
Well, and Caleb was telling me he downloads some YouTube videos as well, and then splices them up and puts together like highlights.
Yeah, I do highlights and I just do like straight film like cut-ups for players. Like even if that bad plays, you put that in there. Just like really everything that's involved in cut that out. Because like there used to be like a platform for that called Draft Breakdown where they'd upload stuff like that, and then it got shut down. It's not like people who want to get film and stuff, they have to basically create it on their own. So that's what help out with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you said, tell them about the post you did that got like thousands of views.
Yeah, well, yeah, my last one with David Montgomery had over 1,000 views on YouTube, and then I have other ones for Corey Davis that has over 14,000. Small ones have like 25K. So yeah, so if you want to check that out, it's Keel Pro 88 on YouTube. Another plug. If you want to check it out, I guess. Once the draft gets closer, I'll probably put more stuff. But right now, it's still like evaluating, putting grades on guys. Exactly.
Yeah, excellent. What a great way to transition, right, from what we're learning in class to kind of creating semi-professional work, and excellent for your resume when you're trying to get a job. So, okay, well, great class today. So work on those blogs, and we'll see you Wednesday then. It'll probably be done by today or tomorrow. Okay. Yeah, it's nice paper. All right, for them to create.
Good morning.